Namaste. How are you guys doing? Welcome, 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 welcome. Today's topic is extremely important, guys. It's about resistance. Yes. I think I read somewhere, I don't recall where I read that it says we all have two lives. The life that we're living and the inner life, and in between there is resistance. What did he mean by that, guys? He was saying we have this ordinary life that we're doing a little bit here, and we're happy, we're not happy, we're involving all of our emotions. It's going a little bit, but it stops, and I'm not happy, and I need to do this and that. That's one life. But then there is this other life within us, which is coming from our higher self. It's the big dreams. It's when we realize how we truly are talented, how many gifts we have brought down here with ourselves that we might not be aware and we're not really using it. Okay. So that's the dream life that we really want to have one day somewhere. And in between these two, what's stopping me from getting to that inner life, my higher self calling, is the resistance. Okay. So before I make this resistance, this character, a really bad guy, and we all going to hate it and say, oh my God, resistance, is it ever going to end and whatever. Before, let's put the positive side of resistance. The positive side of resistance, guys, is that resistance is the valiant. What's the valiant? Is that evil character that's showing up, creating all the dilemmas and chaos. And through that valiant, that evil character, now our hero within arises. So imagine if we all watch this movie, that this movie was just like this person has such an amazing life and it was no obstacles. And how interested would you be to watch that movie or movies similar to that? Why do we watch movies that there are problems, obstacles? Because we're learning through stories, we're learning through the movies. And so basically, we're interested to watch this movie because as a story is writing itself, or as I'm watching this movie, we see this character that's getting into some problems or some kind of trouble. And these characters eventually is more and more dramas. So the story gets to the climax that this valiant is becoming really vicious. And no matter what our character does, this valiant destroys it, messes it up, or doing something, right? And we're learning by watching or reading the story, oh, that's how this character overcame his obstacles, and we're learning through this, right? So let's look at the resistance. In a way, we can say the resistance is this alien who is showing up from another planet and is constantly is the opponent, is the force that putting in front of us so we can reach our goal. We can live our dreams. We can do blah, 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 right? So this alien, in a way, we could say, could it be our egos, right? Very possible that this is coming from the right camera, which we all know what the right camera is the mind, is this magnificent, brilliant, complicated brain of us. And behind this camera, behind this lens, is the ego, right? So we could also say, and then the left camera, can you guys tell me what's the left camera? Who can tell me? The left camera is the heart, and behind this heart sits our soul, our higher self. So now, understanding, we're going to change our view towards resistance. Okay, I get it. The resistance is here as another entity to help me to find that hero within. And it's helping my hero to become stronger, to find out his or her abilities and capabilities, right? So when you come from this understanding, as we know, guys, we don't go to the gym and lift 100 pounds and say, okay, great. I did it. I'm fit for life and everything. I build up muscles, right? Or on the contrary, we don't go to the gym and lift the 20 pounds. And if we're unable, we're not going to beat ourselves up and say, oh, I'm a loser. I can't do this. It's never going to happen. So we don't do that either, right? Because we are all intelligent human beings. So once we start understanding this is the purpose of resistance, now we change our view. We welcome it. We welcome resistance in our lives. Resistance, it's a few soluble and it's hard. It's tough. But we want to change the energy in our awareness by looking at resistance in a totally different lens. Oh my God, resistance. Yes, how amazing. This resistance is here to help me to strengthen my muscles. Okay. Now, I want to tell you guys, I have written a full 2 hours movie many years ago. And then I started to write a different story. That story, okay, I read it. I gave it to the editor. I spent so much money on it. And then I thought I sat on it for so long that it became outdated. I was like, oh, that's not going to work now, blah, blah, blah. So I started to write down another story, which was very interesting. Anybody that I gave the idea, they were like, oh, this is so magnificent. It was a story into a story about soulmate, about twin flames, about coming together. Very complicated. You don't know my mind, guys. It's quite crazy. Okay. So I wrote it and then I was like, no, I don't think I want to go this way. I would start from the beginning and rewriting it and then changing it and then changing it. After 5 or 6 times, I let it go. It was a brilliant idea. It was amazing. Anyone that I told the story, they find it fascinating. What's my point? Please hear me out now, guys. This is another form of resistance because resistance, like ego, opens up so many branches. One of the way that I'm not good enough, one of the way that talks to us, that voice that beats us up. You're not good enough. Who do you think you are? Remember a couple of weeks ago when I just started my English live, I told you guys, I said for so many years, I wouldn't want to come up doing lives in English because I was thinking, oh, I have an accent. What am I going to say? Everything's already said and done. Remember we talked about that, guys? So that was a kind of resistance. And finally, I overcame it and I said, it doesn't matter. I'm going to start doing my lives. I'm going to suck. I'm going to be bad. I'm going to get lost. I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it. I overcome my resistance. Okay. Another form of resistance is what I told you. We write something and says, no, that's not good. Another way, guys, is doing our research. How many of you guys have done that? You want to start doing something instead of getting into it. In this moment, when it's fresh, when the energy is there, you tell yourself, oh, let me do my research. What if, like for instance, when I wanted to write my second movie, I was thinking, oh, if this character is coming from here and it's from the ancient, then I got to go and do this study to really know that I don't mess up, that I don't make mistakes, that I don't. And then I would catch myself, oh my God, I lost literally a month doing research about ancient time, which is only going to be mentioned as a word in my movie. You see what I'm saying? So often we get lost because we think we need to educate ourselves more. We need to do our research. We need to do this and that. And I am bringing this to your awareness that this is another tool of resistance, right? So when we decide to lose weight. How often does this happen to you guys? You said you really decide that you want to lose weight. And then you're thinking to yourself, you're going to write a note. I need to buy a new shoes. That shoes is old. I need to get some clothes. I need to get this kind of bottle. I need to buy a mixer to make my protein shake. I need to do this and this and that. And so many preparation and days goes by that that idea just either disappear, or the motivation and the drive, I love, at the beginning is gone. So that's another way when resistance is telling you that you got to become prepared. You got to do your research. You need this and this and that. Those needs. You need to have this in order to do this. You need this. This is another way that resistance is sending you off the road. So by going here and there, time is passing by, and that juice and motivation, it's not there anymore. You hear me, guys? Yeah. So now what I want to tell you guys is I've been, you probably heard my story. I left my family when I was almost 18 years old, even 18 o'clock. Okay. So, from then on, I have done so many things, moved, studied, I just wanted to experience so many things. I just studied cosmetology. I studied this and that, so many things, because my soul wanted to try all this thing. How does it feel to do that? And I told you, sometimes I would look back and I said, shoot, how much time did I lose by doing that? How much time did I lose by doing this? But remember, that's again another way of resistance, because it's telling you not to experiment what you want and what you feel at that moment. And it's going to tell you, look at your past. Look at how many times. What? I got a real estate license, for God's sake. And then I thought, I hate real estate. Why the hell did I do that? But you never know where and how what you learn or those information would be useful. So this would be another way of resistance, telling you that your past is wrong, or whatever you did, it's wrong. So what I want to tell you guys is that many of us, we don't know how many talents we have brought down here. We don't know the gifts and talents, right? And you don't have to know them, basically. But what I'm trying to say is, if you want to sit down to find out what is your talent, what should you do, be mindful that that could be another way of resistance showing up, so you don't do anything. I think we need to, as soon as something comes up to us, we should go by it. That's how I lived my life, guys.